Hello students, let's read this problem together. Jessica earned $35,210 in a year working as a receptionist. This year she will pay 26% of income tax. What was her net income? So again, the question is, what was her net income? So since we have a percent and it's asking about the income tax, we know that we are going to set up a percent box. In our percent box, we have the percent side, and we will put 0% at the beginning all the way to 100%. So on the dollar side, we have what would correspond with 0%. That's right, $0. And what would correspond with 100%. So 100% of the income is 35,210. So now we're going to look at our percent, 26% of income tax. And so we're going to mark that on our percent bar. We know that about halfway there, that's 50%. And about another halfway there would be 25%. And we're looking for 26%. So that would be very close right here to the 25% mark. So we'll go ahead and mark that there, what we want. And we're going to mark it because we're trying to find the corresponding dollar amount for 26%, so that we can set up our proportion. So what we have now is, we know that 35,210 corresponds to 100%. We want to know what dollar amount corresponds to 26%. So we're going to go ahead and make our proportion. So we're going to use these two to set up our first ratio. X dollars for 26% equals, and these two on the end will make our second ratio. 35,210 corresponds to 100. And now that we have that information, we're going to use our cross products. So we're going to do 26 times 35,210 is equal to 100x. We got 100x from cross multiplying here, 100 times x. So since we are trying to isolate our x, we are going to have to divide by 100. And I will divide by 100 on this side. We do the same thing to both sides in an equation. So here we have 100 divided by 100 becomes 1x. So 1x is just x. And on the other side, we're going to evaluate. So we can multiply 35,210 times 26. Other times we have simplified here and pulled out one of the numbers. But in this case, just so that we can show that it would be the same thing, we're just going to go ahead and evaluate it all the way across. So 26 times 35,210. So I'm going to work that here. 35,210 times 26. 0 times 6 is 0. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. We carry 1. 5 times 6 is 30, and 1 is 31. Carry 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 and 3? Good. 21. So now that we are done with the 6, we're going to use a placeholder here because now we're going to multiply by 2. And so our first number is going to go right here underneath the 6. 0 times 2 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10. We're going to carry 1. And 3 times 2 is 6. And 1 more is 7. We're going to add our 2 rows. And we get the sum. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. 1 plus 0 is 1. And 2 plus 7 is 9. So we have our product. And we're going to go back and look. None of these numbers had a decimal right now. Okay? But this is the top part. This right here is the top part. We just multiplied this number times this number. So we have 915,460. And we still have to divide by 100. Now let's remember what happens when we divide by 100. When we divide by 100, we move the decimal 2 places to the left. So if we move the decimal from the very back, 1, 2, we're going to end up right between the 4 and the 6. So we're going to have 9154.60. So $9,154.60. This right here is our income tax. And we're going to go ahead and label it. So let's go back and read the question. This is our income tax. But the question says, what was her net income? So we don't want her income tax, but we do need it. So now we need to find the net income. Do you recall how we find net income? That is correct. The net income is what's left after subtracting deductibles or things that are going to be subtracted from it. So in this case, we're going to subtract the income tax. So Jessica started or earned a total of $35,210. But she has to pay back the tax amount of $9,154.60. We're going to make sure to put a decimal and add those 2 zeros so that we can subtract correctly. Okay, so 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 6 is not possible, so we're going to borrow. And we have 0, so we have to borrow from the 1. And that'll leave 0 in that place. This becomes 10. Then we borrow it to put in here. So 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. 0 minus 5 we cancel. Again, we're going to borrow and regroup. So now we have 10 minus 5. 1 minus 1. 5 minus 9 we cancel. Again, we're going to borrow and regroup. And 2 minus nothing is 2. So we get $26,055.40. And this right here is our net income. The amount that Jessica actually got to use after taxes. So when we look at our answer choices, our answer choice that matches is A. So Jessica's net income was $26,055.40.